Finally, the showdown between Richard Jakpa and the Attorney General has come to an end. 4 days of cross-examination, 4 days of scrutiny between the Office of the Attorney General, the prosecution, and Mr. Richard Jakpa following allegations against the Attorney General. What has happened now is that Justice Efiasewa Saribochi has discharged Mr. Richard Jakpa, who is in a witness box. He is the third accused person in an ongoing trial. In fact, the interesting part of the conversation or the cross-examination is when the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah Dame, has been putting to Mr. Richard Jakpa that nowhere was it shown that the Ministry of Health directed the Ministry of Finance to establish any letter of credit for the release of funds to the purchase of ambulances. But document shown to Mr. Jakpa, he read that yes, even though the Office of the Ministry of Health did not come up with a directive of that nature, the Attorney General at the time's opinion, that is Dominic Ayeni's opinion on the matter, made it clear that the Ministry of Finance will have to establish a letter of credit for the purchase of the ambulances. This and many more the Attorney General took to Mr. Richard Jakpa. Final day pointed to how the contract issues all came about, but in effect, what Mr. Richard Jakpa is saying is that the Attorney General or government of the NPP was so mischievous, they took steps to ensure that their businessmen will benefit from the issues in relation to purchases of ambulances, and they deliberately ignored the ambulances that were planned or ambulances that were being purchased by the NDC administration. We've been seeking some responses or some reactions from the parties here involved, and National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami JP, speaks for the accused persons.
The contract in isolation of you have to read them together at this point. And I thank Jakpa for giving this dishonorable, crooked character of an Attorney General that free education, even though he's not a lawyer. Then you saw him repeat his ignorance about the effect of letters of credit, suggesting that letters of credit constitute advance payment. And Jakpa educated him that every letter of credit contains condition precedents. One of it is the point of negotiation. And the point of negotiation for this one was a Jebel Ali port in Dubai. So you can't say that if you see a provision in the contract that says that payment shall only be made on site of goods, then it means that on site of goods means when you see the goods at Tema port. When as an Attorney General, you are supposed to read these simple things and know that the negotiation point is a Jebel Ali port in Dubai. So once it is shipped from there, and Big C received the bill of lading documentations, and that is it. They have met the condition precedents. Another ignorance of the Attorney General exposed. Then you saw the misinterpretation of a balance sheet, which has opening accounts, closing account, elementary, even me. The little accounting they taught me at the law school, I understand this. You just see figures in a balance sheet and you interpret that to mean payment to Big C. When that has to do with transactions, debit and credit in the account from which the letter of credit was established, and not payment to Big C. And Jakpa exposed him. But for me, the most embarrassing one, perhaps, was when the Attorney General categorically suggested that, look, there is nothing in the agreement. There is nothing in the agreement that says that Big C will be converting vans into ambulances. He was so sure. Take it and show me. Then Jakpa educated him, read it to him. Clause 21, that the entire agreement includes the annexes. And Annex B is clear about conversion. The Attorney General has had X all over his face. So embarrassed. You know, I was looking at the spokesperson, my good brother Wilberforce in court then. The man could not even raise up his head. He was so embarrassed that his boss, the Attorney General, could not examine this document properly. Then you put that aside. The Attorney General was also categorical. You see, this man is a local champion only because he specializes in fixing matches. But you see, now that everybody is watching the proceedings and he has met his meter, Jakpa, you see how he's being exposed. You don't even read documents that you are cross-examining a witness on. You don't read. And you come and tell Jakpa that, look, read the Attorney General's letter. Where did he never... Dame was categorical that the Attorney General never told government to establish a letter of credit. You were in court. Then Jakpa read it. when the Attorney General was clear that government is bound by the terms and should perform the terms.
Deputy Attorney General Godfred Yeboah has also this to say.
We have made our case as prosecutors. The AG, myself, my sister, the DPP, we took turns to cross-examine Jakpa, and I think we have met our expectations. It is rather unfortunate. My brother is a lawyer. The Honorable Attorney General is an astute lawyer. He's a well-read lawyer, a revered lawyer. He knows his stuff. And so if he decides to say that is a match fixer, I mean, I don't understand him. Go to the law reports, go to the Supreme Court of Ghana law reports, and look at the case that he's done at the time that he was in private practice. And from 2016 to date, I can say without any fear of equivocation that if you look at the ages that we have in Ghana, if he's not the best, he may be one of the best when it comes to his courtroom appearance. And look at international arbitrations. An Attorney General who leads his team to go on international arbitration and win cases internationally, not local. So if you say local champion, what does it mean? An Attorney General who is able to boost the staff strength of the ministry, giving them the training such that now we do not pay millions of dollars to external solicitors. Only few of them. Most of the cases that we have on arbitration, he leaves. So does it mean that if he goes outside to fight those cases, he also goes there to face matches? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Mr. Richard Jakpa, who has been in the witness box himself, he tells me the performance of the Attorney General of his cross-examination is below the belt.
Attorney General came to court purely on political convenience and mischief to imprison Honorable Atuforsen. And this stemmed from the e-levy. It stemmed from the e-levy because Honorable Atuforsen was a ranking member for NDC in Parliament. And he was giving them headaches. He was frustrating and being meticulous on the figures that Ken Ofori-Atta was bringing to Parliament. So on the insistence of Ken Ofori-Atta, they decided to charge Atuforsen in order to intimidate him, to soften in Parliament, so that he doesn't peruse and be too critical on the things that Ken Ofori-Atta brings to the Finance Committee. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just below the bar. It's below the bar. They were legally incompetent.
You say below the bar?
Below the bar, what I'm trying to tell that they were legally incompetent. Very inept at arguing their case. You were in court. You saw that he was bringing documents and he was even confused. He didn't even understand that there is an LC account in the bank. And the LC is established from the account of the bank, from an account of the LC. So there's difference between 15 and over million and 3.9 billion, which was meant for the first 50 tranche, which came from the ministry. And the man was telling the court that debit and credit balance, which was open and closed, and the charges in the bank, that was the LC. That is it's just pathetic.
What is clear now is that Mr. Richard Jakpa has been discharged, but that is not the end of his case. He'll be calling 8 witnesses to support his evidence or his defense. And will first to mount the witness box is the representative of Big C General Tradings. The case has since been adjourned to July 11. From the Law Court Complex in Accra, Murtala Inusah, GH1.